The day the Portuguese navy fell to the Mali Empire in 1446, the expedition was led by Knight Nuno Tristão, one of the first European explorers to reach sub-Saharan Africa. After a series of raids on coastal Western Sahara, where he managed to capture a few Berbers, Tristão returned in 1446 with a well-armed party further south on the coast of Senegambia. It is important to understand here that the Portuguese had just started to turn the tide on the Moors that had occupied their land for over 4 centuries. They knew little of what they would find when they sailed southward. Previous encounters with black Africans from the coast of Gambia had made the Portuguese terrified of the poison arrows, even though they had muskets and armor. Yet still, determined to bring back captives to Portugal, they pushed forward in 1446 with their caravel and small boats. This is where the Senegambians made their move. They ambushed the small boats, flooding it with waves of poison arrows, and then attacked the caravel. Here, let me quote one of the Portuguese escapees. "And the others who remained in the boats bestirred themselves as much as they could to get at our men, and as soon as they perceived themselves to be within reach, they discharged that accursed ammunition of theirs, all full of poison, upon the bodies of our countrymen. And so they held on in pursuit of them until they had reached the caravel, which was lying outside the river in the open sea. And they were all hit by those poisoned arrows, in such wise that before they came on board, 4 of them died in the boats." Nuno Tristão was killed in the early wave of the battle. Some accounts attest that the Senegambians captured the caravel and towed it upriver where it was dismantled. Nevertheless, this account forced the Europeans to stop their attempts at raiding the coast and settle for diplomacy and trade instead, as attested Professor John Thornton quoted here. The Europeans had little success in their seaborne attacks on the mainland. As a result, the Europeans had to abandon the time-honored tradition of trading and raiding and substitute a relationship based more or less completely on peaceful, regulated trade. This is one of the many important victories in the African resistance against colonization. Your support on Patreon means the world to us, and it helps us share more of our history so that the next generation doesn't grow up believing that they are without history.